We are back. Welcome back to another episode of a gaming podcast, episode 45, the non-rain edition. We all made it.
Yeah.
What a wacky couple of days it was. Sorry for the late podcast, but weather here was crazy. People were sitting on top of cars, being saved by lifeboats and everything. It was crazy.
It was the apocalypse.
Here's the thing: was it raining that bad where you guys were? Because it wasn't that bad for me.
It rained a bunch in the morning, and I remember because like the pellets outside my window woke me up that morning. But then I remember like when the power had gone out, I was like, it doesn't look that bad outside.
When everything went out, it was like it was a bit cloudy, but I could actually see like blue sky and I could see the sun out. Like it was super dark, like in the morning. Yeah, when I woke up and I could see. Oh yeah, no, it's raining. I'm like, okay, all right.
I think the worst of it for me was it wasn't just that the power went out, but like my like provider, I also had just like I couldn't access my phone or use my phone at all. Like it was tough.
Yeah. It was terrible throughout the entire 6 hours that I was offline. It was like at first I thought it was just because people were just trying to be able to use the cell service, but no, it turns out like I got a message from Bell being like, "Yeah, we're kind of down right now."
Yeah, a little bit, but then like I ended up going out. It's like you said, the weather started to clear up and it was really nice out, so it was just like, I guess this is
opted to go touch grass.
Yeah, dude.
Not knowing like downtown, people were like swimming out of their cars and they were like, here we are at the park, like, wow, what a lovely day this is.
Yeah. Actually, I didn't touch grass at all, but I read the entire the Batman Who Laughs series, which was It was
you got into the whole Dark Knights, the metal stuff, right?
Well, I didn't read the first the dark metal series, but I read Scott Snyder's run. It was pretty good. I'd still say it's probably not my favorite Scott Snyder Batman story. I think Court of Owls is still my absolute favorite. But this one wasn't that bad. The only thing is though, okay, Caboose, I think you're probably the only one who could be able to talk about this with definite expert knowledge.
Oh boy.
The thing is with Batman stories is that I'm constantly, even though how dire it gets, I am always just constantly wondering, okay, what is the one thing that's going to happen that basically that Batman had pre-planned, or it was the one person that came in at the right second. Like, I'm just waiting. What is that reveal of how he's going to get out of that situation? Because no matter, like, they spend so much time setting up, like, this is like the worst it's ever been. Batman, you're losing, losing to the toxin, whatever. And yet it's just like, okay, what is it? What did Bruce plan ahead of time to get him through it? And
are you talking about to get him through becoming the Batman Who Laughs?
Yeah, but I find that with a lot of Batman stories lately in comics, like no matter how big the stakes are, that you always know, oh, Batman's going to get himself out of it.
Yeah, but that's kind of comics in general. I don't know if that's like tied specifically to Batman. But honestly, you bring up Court of Owls. I feel like that's one of the stories where like you really watch Batman just go insane.
Yes.
For a little bit, for all intents and purposes, like the dude loses. And if you're looking for another really good story where it's like he's got no contingency, he just loses. Nightfall is great for that as well.
Yes, Nightfall is good. Yeah.
The issue where or the storyline where Bane breaks Batman's back, like that. There's a couple of stories where they're like, okay, he's gotten out of enough. Like it's time for the guy to take a hit.
Yeah.
But yeah, comic books, and you see this a lot in like the genre in general. Where it's just
look at
heroes always gonna prevail,
Yeah.
The recent Crisis Earth movie. That Batman he didn't get it.
I couldn't watch that, but I did see that clip of Kevin Conroy.
That Batman did not get out of it. He was like, "You're gone."
His last line as Batman ever, and it's just like,
what a way to go.
Yeah, ends it with but I'm still Batman. I'm like, yes.
Oh my god.
So that was so
Joker
dope.
sounded a little bit different, even though it
didn't sound like Mark Hamill. No.
Yeah, was that Hamill?
They said it.
No, I don't think it was.
It does not sound like him.
Yeah, he literally had no line. Like he was just kind of the grunts, whatever. Yeah.
He said he was laughing and everything. He was talking. It just
it sounds more to me like Troy Baker's.
That's what a lot of people were saying.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I like Jensen Ackles as Batman. You know, he's not bad.
He's great as Batman. If we need a new voice for, he's great. I think Bruce Greenwood's done the voice of Batman.
Bruce Greenwood's amazing. Oh,
anyone except the dude that they got in some of like the more recent animated series.
Yes. It was like that Irish guy, I think, right?
Yeah, well, he's just trying to do like a Christian Bale thing, and it just sounds awful.
Wait, which one? Batman Brave and the Bold, or not Batman Brave? Not the one that, like, remember the series of the Batman, but it was like the Joker gang instead of the Joker. It's
I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I don't like that guy who voiced him.
Yeah.
But Dietrich Bader's all right. I think him as Brave and the Bold, the version is good. But yeah, the guy that basically did the
he's RoboCop. Why can't I remember his name?
Peter Weller.
Peter Weller. Yeah. He's incredible.
He's
as well.
great. Yeah.
No.
The guy that they got
Peter
during
Weller,
the New 52 animated movies. That one I don't like. I don't like that guy.
Yeah, no, he's bad. Really
bad. Yeah. But anyway,
so welcome to the DC Animated Movies podcast, everybody.
Hey, you know, what a time to be alive.
I don't get to talk DC anyway.
I know.
I'm here, bro. I actually had some little quick mentions I want to bring here, and one of them was the whole Batman thing. Another one is that the Russo brothers are back for Avengers.
Yeah,
hell yes. You know what? Honestly, that was totally. I put out a meme when that happened of like that scene from Infinity or Endgame where Thanos is like, you could not live with your own failures. Where did that bring you? And I captioned it. I captioned it that it was like that was the Russo brothers to Marvel, and then a lot of people like this could also apply to Marvel at the Russo brothers. And honestly, this is totally like a situation of they really need each other right now.
Yeah, they do.
And so I hope though, if anything, that it's not like that it was forced for that reason, but rather it was like, no, like let's do this, you know, like I there was rumors a little while back that the Russos pitched for Avengers 5 and got turned down. I assume that it was a money thing. They've earned their keep with Marvel. They've pretty much made the 4 best MCU movies. And that was like back to back to back to back. So like, yeah, if they were gonna go to Marvel and be like, sure, we'll do Avengers 5, but you better back that dump truck full of money. Like I think they totally earned that, you know, especially as well. Like I don't know if you guys have ever heard of just their stories. They've hinted about the workload on making those Avengers movies. It's absolute insanity. I cannot even imagine how tired they must have been by reaching the finish line. You know?
Yeah, because they went pretty much back to back. They went, they went Winter Soldier, then to Civil War, then literally to Avengers, Infinity War, and then Endgame. How many years was that? Like 6-7 years, basically. They spent just working
nonstop. Which maybe that'll make this next Avengers movie like even better for the reason that they got to like breathe a little.
Refresh, essentially. Yeah. I think though, I can't remember who said it, but I kind of I like this idea, and I kind of almost agree. I kind of hope that they do this is instead, obviously we're probably not going to get the Kang Dynasty as Avengers 5 anymore.
Doubtful.
But I did hear that someone say like I would love to see this too, Avengers versus X-Men.
Hell yes. I didn't really love
that's been hinting a lot.
I didn't really love the storyline in the comics. Like I thought the event was kind of like uneventful, to be honest. But there's a very interesting buildup they could do here in the films to really pay off something big. But also like I don't know. Right now, like I'm just Deadpool and Wolverine mindset. Like I want to cross that threshold, and then we'll see where we're going from there.
I still need to get tickets for that.
I do.
I need to get that Xbox controller. That's what I need.
Yes, I need that Xbox controller.
You brought that up. Because like
there it is. Yeah.
I was about to ask, like, who got their tickets? Because I know none of us is getting this controller.
That is
man. I threw my hat. I threw my tick in the hat for that. Like
you actually did, really?
Yeah, I hope I win. I did.
I replied to the tweet as well. Just you never know.
Why not? If I win that thing though, like I'm gonna put that behind glass.
That's put it in a glass box for people to come and visit. You know.
No, that controller is incredible. I love it.
Yeah, absolutely wild.
Unbelievable.
Yeah,
crazy.
I love that Malik Prince over at Xbox. He actually he nicknamed it the butt troller. But I was like, you know what? Hey, the cheeky controller works too.
I like that too.
Yeah, cheeky. Yeah,
I like that.
But like I could like think of the whole series they could have with this. Like you could have like different like pants if you wanted to. You know, this could be a whole new like lineup of controllers for them. They're missing out.
That's what I keep saying. Every time they do these special contests, which they do like what 4 or 5 times a year, like they could sell these as limited editions, and they could they would sell out, especially the controllers. Like the consoles, yeah, sure. Like if it's a special one, I think probably the X-Men would have sold out. I think, or they made it a wrap. But I think because we talked about that in our group chat. But I think that I would totally be cool with. I've kind of changed around. Of like I would be totally cool if they decide to put out these controllers as limited editions. They would sell out immensely, like crazy.
Oh, absolutely.
But they just don't do it. I don't know what the ROI is for it.
I don't know, man.
That's the thing I always wonder too, is because like I feel like it's a minimal spend for like maximum exposure in these sorts of like promotional things. Like they collaborated with Disney to obviously get the approvals and be involved somehow, but like
look at the Barbie one. The whole greenhouse.
They didn't sell that one either.
He would have sold that easily.
That's it. Well, and then once you add a dimension of like revenue share to something like that, I think it gets a little tricky. But I do wish they could figure it out, because I would buy that thing in a heartbeat.
Or at least if they can't really put out the console versions, especially like just create the wraps for them. Like they've got a whole business model already, and there hasn't been a new wrap since Starfield.
Yeah, it's so interesting. They that whole idea with Starfield on the wraps for the consoles, and then they just never did anything with it. I'd only imagine that it was because just people didn't tug.
Well, they just had the crappy versions. Basically, it was just camo, and then it's a Starfield. Like I have the Starfield one. Like it's literally wrapped around my Xbox right now, and it looks great. But I don't know why. I understand why they don't just keep updating
any of their other series. They're just a controller.
Yeah, there you go.
Like you could have done it for like Hellblade if you wanted to. Like I don't know.
Yeah, I think they'll probably pick and choose maybe one or 2 games a year. Like they're heavy hitters. Like
I guess so.
I hope so.
Like Indiana Jones would be a really cool one to do. Like,
that'd be dope.
Really good. It's a giant circle, Great circle.
It's all circles.
So true. It is a giant circle.
All right. Who has played Concord here?
Let's go.
I wish I was trying to find like a second to play it, but honestly, I was so wrapped up in playing Alan Wake 2.
Well, you get to play it this weekend,
and I'm very excited for this upcoming weekend. Yeah. Wait, today?
Yeah,
it starts today.
Starts today.
Oh, I'm jumping in.
Yeah, there you go.
And I think it's like everybody right now, right? I think
everybody
it's free to play,
is allowed to play this time.
Cool. All right.
Even though
convince me now.
I was about to say, because I am not.
Please play it. please play it.
Because to be honest, I'm not that high on the game. To be honest,
you're not.
I'm not that high on the game, and I know you guys play with each other. I know games are better with friends, but like I feel like a game should be good if it's solo, and then better.
I agree. I would agree.
And for me, I didn't find the game. I wasn't too high on it. So I want even you guys to try to convince me on this game as well.
Riley, you want to go ahead?
Sure.
Good luck.
I kind of felt, to be honest, yeah.
That's what.
Good luck, Riley. What you got?
Okay. Yeah. To be honest, I kind of felt the same way initially. Marcel, I was like, I don't really get it. I don't know. I don't get it. And the more I played, like you start to kind of learn the mechanics and like the wall hugging and stuff. I'm like there's a deep meta to it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think it's going to be a very competitive shooter. It just needs to land with its audience, is what I think. So there's still like I feel like the beta was one thing. Like I feel like maybe they could have cut back on the characters in the beta just to like fine tune or streamline like the experience a bit, because it was a bit overwhelming to sit down and be like, and there's 16 characters I've never heard of, and I don't know what any of them do. Like I think people just need like a little bit of hand holding in those situations to kind of learn that. Then at launch, it's like, 4 more characters and so on. Like I think that would have been better.
Do you think like a training or like even like just a small little like I imagine like Valorant, and I brought this up to someone with Valorant, that you can't play Valorant unless you go through the tutorial. Like it's like there's no the game's like even if you restart the game, they're like, nah, nice try, buddy. You gotta go through it. Do you think something like that would have been beneficial? Because I didn't even know about like the different roles or the different the different like carryovers of like perks from each character. Like
it makes me wonder
boost.
Yeah, it makes me wonder if maybe they're going to add that into the final version, because Because in the beta, like I don't think they would have put a tutorial in there. They just were like, let's just get people,
for a beta, if I booted up the game and it was like, hey, sit through a 30-minute tutorial, it's like I just wanted to hop online with my friends.
Or even like a 2-minute video, just
I don't
being
know.
like,
I don't know.
Because when I tried Fragpunk and that was a closed beta, they had like, hey, this is how the game works. It was like just 2 minutes.
I think
this one is just like go and shoot, go nuts. I'm like, I don't know what's going on.
Here's the thing. I think with Fragpunk, it's different because they are introducing a new mechanic, which is the cards, which like you kind of have to know how to be able to do. This one, it's similar to like a lot of other multiplayer games where you basically like you have your special abilities, you have your kind of special weapons for each character, but the controls are pretty much the exact same no matter what character you choose. So I think it's just more of it's because of what was limited in the beta build that we got, and not necessarily a full reflection of the final version of the game. I would hope that there's a tutorial because I think that would help out a lot, or at least a menu version of a tutorial where you go in and it sort of say, okay, press this button to do this, and it has a little preview of what it would do. Because I think pretty much like if you played any multiplayer game within the past couple of years, whether it's like Overwatch or Destiny or Valorant or Counter-Strike, like you're getting a lot of or Apex, you're getting a lot of the best of I think, for a lot of the same kind of features as those games. So there's going to be something there that I think that if you're like, okay, Destiny, like for me, that was it. Like it had that kind of pretty free flowing sort of FPS sort of combat. Like it had that, it hit that for me. And it's sort of a bit free floaty with the jumps and stuff like that. So that was kind of my entry point, but I can see other people being like, oh, this is kind of similar to Valorant or, similar to Overwatch, and they'll find that entry into it. Sorry, right, I cut you off a little bit.
No, not at all. No, I think that's all like totally valid. I think too, it's like if they made me sit through the tutorial twice, like if I did it in the beta and then the game, I'd be a little annoyed. I don't know. Like, I do feel like they probably will have a full tutorial when it comes out. They had a huge cinematic that lasted several minutes.
Cinematic
which was like
they make you sit through that. Yeah.
I was like,
would they make you sit like you can't skip it?
I don't know if it's skippable. I don't remember if it's skippable, but I think it's worth watching because it is a good cinematic.
A thing where they're adding story like every Okay,
you're getting introduced to the lore of the game because they are saying that they're going to be getting new cinematics every single week, so you're going to get more of the story. So I think that that's worth watching, and it's not like I think some people will probably like just get me to the action, but I enjoyed it.
For a game like this, though, like shouldn't just the hardcore focus be on let's just nail the PvP, get the PvP right, and just like go all in on that? Because it is a hero shooter at the end of the day, from what I can tell. And I don't know like how much of the cutscenes every week or however often they're planning to do it, like what's going to be like the major draw there. Like what will there be something where eventually like they're like, oh, this is kind of like Destiny where there's this overarching story and we're building to something huge? Like, is that where you think it could go, or is it more just like here's a fun little nugget for you guys to enjoy every week or so?
So actually, I didn't find this out until later, like when I heard some other coverage of this. I don't know, Riley, if you had a point on that one, but I was going to talk about the different variants and then the crew aspect.
Oh yeah, no, you go ahead.
Okay, yeah. So each kit, you're right, you basically on the service, even some people sort of thought of it as sort of like an Overwatch clone in regards to hero shooter. I will say probably when you jump in, there's not going to be necessarily a need for you have to in Overwatch, or you have to pick Mercy because that's the only one that's left, and you need a balanced sort of squad. You can choose pretty much any kind of character you want, but when you start unlocking variants of the characters, each variant kind of comes with its own different buff and different sort of abilities that it's still the same character, but it just depends on which variant you want is kind of what kind of buffs you'll get. But then that also ties into your squad or your crew. Once you unlock that after gaining a couple levels, essentially this is from her secondhand knowledge, so not I tried this out myself because I didn't get that far, but essentially you get to pick and choose what your squad is like, your personal squad's going to be. So the way they have it's like, okay, if you have like 4 people on your squad, if there's characters that you like, each character has its own buff, and if you play around with that character, then that buff unlocks for all the other characters that you get to choose.
Okay.
And so it encourages you to basically to pick not just pick one character only throughout the whole entire thing. And that's your main. You could there is a progression system.
So you're like forced to have to pick other characters. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah. So you can basically because you unlock variants by playing these characters. The more you play, the more variants you can unlock. But with the squad, basically it kind of allows you to spread out your because then if you unlock all of the perks for your entire squad, then that means any round that you go into when you're choosing your character, then all those perks are unlocked for all your characters in that sort of in that match. So it'll be like stuff like, oh, your reload's faster, or your jump is higher, whatever that is, and each character has its own perk that essentially can be able to unlock once you kind of build that squad for yourself. So it definitely encourages a lot of variety of play. There's obviously and I think with those two, there's enough to be like, okay, if you just like one character and you want to build that up, you can totally do so. And you can keep doing that for each character if you want to unlock all the variants. But if you really want to kind of have some cool strategy as you're going into the PvP, definitely unlock the stuff with in the squad or in the crew area, and so that you can be able to build that up.
Cool.
Yeah, I don't know.
For me, that's where I found where the game didn't really teach you that.
It did not. No, I found this out afterwards from hearing from other players. So once I heard that, I was like, oh, now I understand what's going on.
Yeah, and that's where I felt like a little frustration with the game. It didn't really be like, hey, this is what you can do with this game. You want to try out different characters, like you mentioned, and you can you want I think up to 6 stack your perks. So the sniper will have long range damage, and then you could add that into someone who doesn't have enough damage. Now they have that boosted damage, or someone who has a healing factor, or someone who can move faster as well. I feel like that's just something that they could just relay that to you. They didn't have a how to play, but it's just a wall of text.
The one thing that I wanted to ask, or that I was wondering about, is I know there was a lot of talk about when this game was coming out, or when it was first revealed, that apparently Bungie had their hands on it a little bit, or they offered up some advice. And I remember even as well, I think Steve V was telling us that there is a bit of Destiny in there. So for you guys who have played it, do you feel that?
There's some pretty good homages to it, and I think there's definitely some feel it has that kind of. I don't want to say it's throughout the entire game, because I think it has its own personality, and it like I said, it is borrowing from other games as well.
I guess I'm just talking strictly the gunplay and the movement and everything.
That's where I felt Destiny the most, was definitely in that first person gunplay and the different variety of weapons and what it can do, and it had that sort of floatiness. That's the one thing that gets me excited. I love obviously a lot of the PvE stuff that's available in Destiny 2, but for me, I think I put a majority of my time into PvP. I really, really love the gunplay in that game, and I think it's pretty competitive and super fun. And so it was the one thing that was really drawing me to Concord, was hearing a lot of comparisons to Destiny. And so if on the sticks it does have that same sort of vibe, or at least a similar vibe, then you've convinced me. More than Riley has. That's for sure.
I suck. Yeah.
Well, that's why I figured I'd get you, is the Destiny aspect. Yeah. I would say, the two are definitely different. I'll say but there are it's similar in vein to, I would say, when you're jumping into either the Crucible, there's even a little bit of like a Trials sort of feel to it, and then one of the modes. So
there's a one life sort of mode.
Okay. Yep. So it's like I said, it's got, I don't want to say the best of every other game, but it's definitely got enough from other games that are added in there. Whether or not all of that combined basically kind of can make Concord stand on top, or it's just it's too much like the other games, I don't know. I think that's gonna be up to the players to kind of decide after that one. But I don't know. I think for me, I don't know, Riley, if you have a sort of different take on it, but for me, I think I'd play it maybe for the first few weeks and see what's like, but I don't know if I'll stick around longer than that.
Yeah. My thing is I think right off the hop, they're giving you like 16 characters to play as, and they all have unique abilities and weapons, and so it's like it's gonna take a moment or a few weeks for people to kind of wrap their brain around it and figure it out. But as like a quasi premium like multiplayer competitive shooter, like it is something like I am very curious to see how it progresses and what the roadmap looks like as well. Because like once I get into it, I'll be like, wow, this is awesome, and I'll be like, oh man, Fortnite just added like, I don't know, like another round of Dragon Ball Z characters. Maybe I'll fire that up. You know, like stuff like that is like how are they going to compete? Like what are we going to see? Like that's my biggest question is like it's all like I think it plays really well. $50 price point, you know, seemed to do really well with the.
Should this have been a free to play game? Like I feel like
I think it'd be very beneficial for them to move to free to play. To be honest,
I think I don't know. I'm back and forth on it. It's like a cheaper
game. It's like a Helldivers 2 price. Yeah, like it's like a quasi premium.
It's still you're putting out a competitive shooter, or at least a hero shooter in a landscape where, first of all, I mean, one of the things I wanted to talk about this week was next week, Marvel Rivals beta is going to be dropping. And as far as I'm aware, unless I've gotten some information wrong. As far as I'm aware, unless I had gotten some information wrong, that's going to be a free to play game, and that's using the Marvel IP. That's still in kind of similar genres. Concord, so Concord with a lot of games surrounding it right now is really it's a big mountain for that game to climb. And on top of everything, on top of just the fact that there's so many other competitive shooters, so many other hero shooters, just the fact that it's also a $50 game in comparison to these other games that are free to play, it's going to make it really, really difficult to survive in this landscape. The one thing I will say that I was very surprised by, because when it was initially revealed, I was like, honestly, this kind of looks painfully generic in my opinion. A lot of people who played it had so many positive things to say. When people got their hands on that beta last week, I was very surprised to hear that the general feedback online was, this is actually pretty fun, you know, and that's great. I'm looking forward to trying it out this weekend for that reason alone. But I don't know how is it going to go toe to toe with some of these other titans that are free.
And I also feel that it also showed that pre-orders weren't that high, because originally it was just supposed to be for pre-orders only, and then I think either the day of or a day before, then they made it available for
PS Plus members.
PS Plus members
right. Right. Okay.
And it's like, and now they're opening up to anybody with a PSN account. I don't know. I think the $40 or $50, whatever it is, to get a full feature-rich game, I think is worth it in my opinion. Because I don't know, Riley, if you saw this like at all, but I don't think that there's really like, I didn't see anything of like a season pass or like any like a store to build a, to buy like anything at all. So it seems as if there's not a lot of, because I think, obviously the Marvel Rivals or, the free to play in order to be able to survive is basically just battle passes, skins, whatever. But this one, I don't like, it didn't seem as if that was kind of part of, at least part of like built into like, that's the economy of the game.
So then what is or what's kind of the idea here in terms of its customization, skins? Because I did see that there were some skins in the beta. Like, is that going to be, because if you're going to toss off a $50 price tag, then I'm hoping that there's going to be some cool stuff for us to unlock.
I you were leveling up and you got cosmetics.
As you level up, you complete challenges, and then that gets you XP to be able to purchase new additional stuff.
Do you think that that's a beta specific thing? Because sometimes like these betas come out and they give you the really cool stuff, and then the full game comes out and it's like, actually that really cool thing we're gonna lock behind either an insane grind or
I mean, potentially that could be down the line, but I mean, from what I could tell, I couldn't unlock any other skin unless I completed challenges. Like you got the default skin pretty much for everybody, and that's because the additional part of when you get to unlock these different variants is they also kind of have like their own full different skin altogether as well. So and that you unlock by playing and leveling up and stuff like that. So
I mean, hey, if you're gonna make a game $50, like if I'm gonna have to pay for it, then I'm really hoping that some of the cooler cosmetics or just in general some of the stuff that makes my character look cool, or the customization that makes guns or whatever it is, I don't know what other options are in there.
Sure.
Like I'm hoping that that's going to be stuff that I can unlock through gameplay, through those challenges like you had said. I guess time will tell when the full game comes out, which I guess it's in a month, right? Like the game comes out in August. So it is right around the corner. It'll be very interesting. It'll be very interesting because PlayStation is in this spot right now where they knocked it out of the park with Helldivers 2, right? This ended up being this massive success out of nowhere. We could very well see that Concord could have a similar sort of success. Who knows?
Yeah, well, that's the one thing I found. Sorry, Marcel.
No, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say the one thing I found was like, and I was joking about it with the Steves when we were playing. I was like, well, this is great, but it's not. Where's Kratos from God of War? Like, we need to get him in here. And where's Ratchet and Clank? That would make this game a 10 out of 10.
Yes.
And I thought more about it, and like shortly after that, I watched a video. Masahiro Sakurai, the guy who put together Smash Brothers, the producer, the creator, was like, we were making a fighting game, and I realized like the biggest thing is like nobody cares about any of these characters. It's like where do you start if it's like as a brand? And I was like, man, it would be kind of cool if there was like a collaboration that way. Like I know we have Astrobot coming out this year as well. Like it would be kind of neat to start seeing PlayStation like flex a little bit with its IP and be like, because if that was the case, if this was a PlayStation shooter, like true PlayStation, I'm talking like, oh yeah, you got Kratos, you got Ratchet and Clank, you got Sly Cooper, you got Astrobot, you got Sackboy, like all these different, like you got, Alloy with her arrows and like different types of mechanics. I think the draw right off the hop would be immediate versus this. So I'm curious to see if they like lean in, like not necessarily it has to be that, but like lean in with their IP a bit and be like, oh yeah, like the guy who has the diamond skin or whatever has a Kratos like beard and axe. I don't know, something like that.
Yeah, like that would be a better implementation of like the PlayStation Stars thing that they've got.
Yeah,
if you could basically be like, oh yeah, you unlock the Kratos skin for X game or whatever, and that's just what's included. Like in like that would be a better than just a little shelf where we'll put little trinkets on. Like what a bunch of waste of.
I know. I'm hoping that particular program Stars leads to like a PlayStation Home reboot or something.
I hope so.
Like
that'd be great.
House or something with
the
gadgets and trinkets that you've collected, but. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like now more than ever we're starting to. I'm going off on a tangent now. This has nothing to do with what we're talking about. But like now more than ever, we're kind of losing what made some of the ecosystem so special. Like I've been going through the Xbox 360, and when you boot it up, like the cool, like you have your profile, you have your avatar, and you've customized that. It's the first thing you see, right? I'm like, oh, they don't really do that anymore. It's just kind of like a storefront. And more than that, it's like there are your achievements and there are your games, and it's like, oh, you completed that game, you have a badge from that game right next to your profile. I'm like, I don't feel like that really happens anymore. Like it's not. Somewhere along the way, like obviously games take precedent. We're there to play the games, but I think somewhere along the way we kind of lost the identity of some of these things, and I just kind of wish that we could revisit that. And I feel like we are kind of in a way. Xbox like at least indicated that in their showcase that they're kind of, hey guys, we heard you want these IPs back, so.
We're gonna it's sort of like bringing back the fun of being on a specific platform or whichever. But I think for me, like, because this is now the second game that we're getting as like within their like PlayStation sort of games as a service sort of push. I think it was like they still got like 4 more games that they're still working on that are going to be in this games as a service. What I am seeing as the pattern that I hope stays with all the other 4 games, is, at least with looking at Helldivers and Concord, is that the game itself is not built on like for lack of a better term, like a microtransaction sort of element. Like you could there are games that you can just sort of jump in and be like, oh, this is where this is where the battle pass kind of helps you out in this particular gameplay, whatever, or this, this skin or this sort of microtransaction will kind of make this game better. If you how integrated those things are. Like I would say, like not to, to knock it, but necessarily like Suicide Squad, you could tell that it was built around the idea of a battle pass, season pass, microtransactions, whatever.
Yeah.
But with Helldivers and with Concord, it doesn't look like that's the case. Like they were focused on creating a good game, and then have sort of like the potential of like a season pass or transactions on top of that. Like Helldivers, the gameplay loop is the gameplay loop. Like yes, you can be able to get like extra skins and stuff like that, but it's not reliant on it. As you get better, you can unlock better stuff, and you unlock that.
But gameplay is king. Yeah,
but I feel like with with Concord, the environment that they're in, it's so crowded. Where Helldivers is
that
like
is
its own special, like it's in its own special lane, and I feel like with Concord, like a lot of them are free to play, and then a lot of people are like, well, why am I going to pay $50, $40 for this thing when I can play Overwatch? I can play
again. That's
like,
going to be the only
like,
hurdle. Yeah,
you know,
it's going to
like,
be the only big hurdle for Concord.
Yeah, but I think as well, like I think that's what sort of shot a lot of like mobile games in the foot was when they were, it's the race to the bottom, as it were, where it's like, it's race to free 99 essentially is kind of like wherever like these sort of shooters have kind of gone. And sure, yeah, it can work for some. I think that, Valorant was able to prove that. And like yeah, as you said, like Marvel Rivals kind of as that as well. But I think I honestly think that Concord setting a price point and it's not free to play. I think for what you're getting, the game that you're getting out of it is worth it in that price. It's not, it's not premium $70 price tag. It is a cheaper price tag. So it's like the $40-$50, whatever it is, depending on, the currency that you're in. But I think that is more feature rich. And I would be like, personally, I would be okay with paying for that, even within this crowded space, because, but also as well, it would have to like, the players have to be there. If the players jump in and it's word of mouth and be like, yeah, this is actually like really fun, you're going to see a lot of people play that. I mean, Helldivers too, they could have totally done free to play model, but it was a cheaper price point, and I think that benefited them. Obviously, like we saw this the Steam sales numbers, like it was huge for them. So I think this one, pricing it at this point, I don't think it's going to hurt them compared to the free to play version of free to play games in the genre. I think word of mouth is going to be what sells this game.
Yeah, I'm intrigued because like we really don't know what their monetization plans are. Like there are going to be some for sure,
other than purchasing the game.
Yeah, like purchase of the game. If you pre-order, I think you get some skins, like stuff like those are the only sort of transactionary things we're aware of right now. I would assume we're going to get some sort of season pass, but will it operate like Helldivers where you can just buy it and it just stays there forever? Or, it's $5, or maybe you play and you earn some currency. I don't know. Like, these are things that I think we're going to find out, or hopefully we find out in the next few weeks as we lead up to launch.
Yeah. Currently right now, there's 2,100 playing the game right now on Steam right now. So,
okay.
Is that good? That's probably
not.
I mean, it just opened, I guess.
It just opened today, yeah. So
for the last couple hours now, it's I don't know. It's for me, and hopefully they also address because they had like a lot of issues on PC. I know you guys were mainly on console, I believe, right?
Yes.
They did have some problems where like the PC version, like even like there's only this windowed mode and then there's full screen, but then the game, if you put it on full screen, your mouse will just still off click elsewhere if you're moving, so your character will just end up running forward, and like you're like, where's my mouse? Your mouse is like on another monitor, and like like there's no border, there's no borderless window mode. So like if that was to happen, like if the alt tab, so I'm like, well, how does this keep happening? And it would just happen randomly for no reason. I know I saw Andy from Kinda Funny had the same issue. I was like, and you can tell like when it happened to him, you just see his character just like running forward and people like, where are you going? Like everyone's over there, like type of thing. So like it had that as like I had an issue with that I kept running into. I did find some characters to be really unbalanced. Like Lennox, he's like top tier. Like there's some top tier characters.
I like Lennox a lot. He's my favorite character for sure.
Yeah,
he plays kind of like McCree or
Oh yeah. Mine was
Cassidy.
Mine was.
I remember the real name. I was like, "What's the new name now?"
Mine, I kind of like was going back and forth between Jabali, which he kind of has like this. I guess this like sort of like a submachine gun sort of deal, but also had like these different sort of kind of like bombs that he would sort of throw, which was pretty cool. And then I also just switched back to like Duchess was pretty awesome. Because she has this like Gatling gun, which is pretty powerful, and then she also can put up walls as sort of like in front of like, so if you're in a chokehold, you can just in your planes cast like or Duchess, you basically pull up a wall and you have to basically destroy it in order to be able for the wall to disappear. But like there's definitely a variety of I think of different characters that I kept going back and forth on that I feel like, okay, I yet to be able to find my main, but I think that there was like a few that I would be like, okay, I like to be able to see where they turn it, what they turn into.
It's just pretty dope because she has this orb where like you could teleport to it and it'll leave a little quickly, like a little decoy.
Yes.
But if you dodge with her, it'll leave a decoy while you're doing a dodge as well. So like she's
I got me a few times. Like, where'd you go? Yeah, I was
I saw like there was somebody who basically like did that where they dodged backwards, but then threw their double, so the person like so they could be able to go in behind the person that was chasing them, and then they did like a whole like shoot from behind while they were chasing the decoy, and it's like that's a pretty cool move right there.
Yeah. There's some cool elements with some characters, but like if you don't bump her up, like I find like the time to, I guess you call it time to kill, that needs to be decreased because like with her gun alone, like I went through 3 magazines and like this guy's like, buddy, like you're just tickling me here. Like, what do you do? Like, I cannot kill this guy with her weapon for like point blank, every bullet hitting him. I just couldn't believe it. So the time to kill definitely needs to be like decreased with a lot of their guns for the characters. And I don't know if you guys ran into this problem as well, where players, if they happen to leave a match, it just refused to look for anybody. Like if you enter a match with like 3 people,
like they didn't slot anyone in.
It does not slot in whatsoever. You're like, people are just like, well, we're screwed. Like it doesn't even tell you.
Here's the thing.
It's like no.
I say to that, it's a skill issue because Riley, Steve, and I basically we were like 3 on 5 and we won. So we just
but I'm not. But people it has nothing to do with issue.
Get good.
It has nothing to do with me. People just leave. People just be like, "Oh, the hell with this is unbalanced," and people just leave. And then next becomes
if you're a coward and you're
not, I didn't leave. I stuck around.
I feel like you're talking like you left, Marcel.
I did not leave whatsoever. I don't know what you guys are talking about. But yeah, you should be slotting in people. Come on now. Did you tell me there wasn't enough people playing the game to slot in? Is that what you're telling me?
Well, that's where our worry was at first when we were like, we found out we were like 3 against 5, but then we're like, nope, okay, we're just gonna
strategy change.
It just doesn't say like it's searching at all. Like so I'm like, does it not search for people? Like it's just like it's confused to put them in there. So
anyway. I will say though that match was probably my favorite match of the entire time I played because
I felt like a king after we won.
We were so dang close. Like by the end, we were basically just they were chasing us around just to try to
run out the clock.
Yeah. It was great. It was awesome.
That was good stuff.
So yeah, it's available starting today they're recording Thursday and until Monday, I guess something. And like they happened to extend it last Monday too, so they might do it again a little bit. So
yeah, I think right now it's stress testing it. I think they're now opening up to as many players as possible. I think that makes sense. You have to stress test these games in order for it to be like playable at launch. So I think the Steam numbers right now, I don't think it's anything worth we don't know until the game launches because I was just even looking that there's about like 30,000 watching Concord on Twitch right now. So and peak was at 100,000 last weekend. So I think that they'll probably maybe reach it again this weekend once it ramps back up.
Yeah. GeForce is now available with Xbox. They're shaking hands. And Riley, does this mean Steam's next? What's going on?
I mean, I think that we can probably safely assume that Xbox is going to be looking at more partnerships like that. And that's just, they've more or less alluded to that. So, I mean, things change, obviously, but I remember a quote from Gabe Newell years ago when Game Pass was just becoming a thing. Like, oh, do you think like Game Pass will come to Steam? He's like, well, Steam would have to come to Xbox first. And I was like, it's a weird thing to say.
Yeah.
And then you have the FTC, the whole thing, and they're like, oh, Gabe Newell, what do you think? He's like, we trust Microsoft 100%. Like, we're totally on board. And I mean, like, this all goes hand in hand with, keep in mind, like, they also had to divest some of their Activision Blizzard streaming rights to NVIDIA and some of the other ones as well. I think they did it to Ubisoft as well. The core streaming rights in Europe. So these things, like, they had to, for 10 years or something like that, they gave the streaming rights up for the IP there. So these things are going to be a natural part of the direction that Microsoft is heading, which is gaming everywhere on everything. Like all of our stuff is everywhere. So I do feel like this is just right now, that's the PC side of things.
And to be clear, this is just like if I want to play, I'm just gonna pick Fortnite for example. If I want to play Fortnite, I have the option to play it either using Xbox Cloud or GeForce Now. It's just not like
games from the storefront, right?
Yeah, it's not like if there's like a game that's not on Xbox Cloud Gaming, but it is on GeForce, I'll be able to play that game on using Xbox. It's just that if the two share that game library, you have the option to pick which service you want to use, right?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
So
It's very interesting because like is GeForce that much like is it better or like why borrow the options? I guess one service is down
and I believe they were initially outspoken in the FTC acquisition deal. So I would assume that this is probably a kickback for them for going along with it.
Oh.
Yeah. So I think so they're like, there you go, you got integration and rights to some of our games because I believe that they both stream Starfield. That was the example provided in that. So it's like that's like Bethesda game, which is an Xbox first party title. So we're gonna see a lot more of that, I think. And especially with the Activision stuff happening in Ubisoft, I think there will probably be some meaningful partnerships there as well. Just out of necessity, because that's how you give access to the cloud versions of these games to everyone else. Yeah. So it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be like things are changing, and once Xbox they lose the benefit of exclusive, it's like, well, why do we sell the hardware? It's like, oh, because you can get everything on it, like all of them.
That's true. That'll be the one sell for sure for an Xbox is if you can get a lot of these.
You go high end, you go high end, and you make like a PC that runs in the living room. I think that's going to be their goal, and they'll probably bring more of their games to other platforms, as is rumored, as they've started doing.
Yeah, I mean, there was rumors. I think that the next Gears of War might even potentially come to PlayStation.
Yeah, there was a report that what you're referring to is there was a report brought up from a LinkedIn listing that was they were
like you need to have expertise or something in the PlayStation network, alongside of things like Xbox Live,
which is like, I mean, that's not a tell-all, right? Like I understand that, like just
it's just online services, if anything, right?
But it is. Like it's unsurprising that they would be looking at that, like especially they're not mentioning the eShop or something like that on the Nintendo side because I don't know if the Switch could run it, but but it is interesting, and I think that the gaming is changing in a big way. So these sorts of things are going to become more and more common as as we progress into through this gen and into the next.
Yeah, have you guys ever played around with GeForce Now?
I have not yet. Especially at Summer Game Fest, they had it at the Samsung TVs.
Oh, did they?
How is it? It's really honestly, it felt 1-to-1. I pretty much played a game of Fortnite, and I couldn't tell the difference.
Wow. Okay.
It was really, really.
Did you hit the gritty?
Yeah. I did. Yeah.
No latency in the gritty.
No latency. 1-to-1.
All right, so that's it for the show.
I've been reluctant, obviously, to sign up for it because I've heard it's pretty decent as far as like the actual streaming aspect of it.
Yeah.
But I'm Team Red, so I'm AMD Red Team here. So I'm just like, I feel like that's like cheating a little bit, even if it is.
You can't even be in this conversation. I just need to take you out of this.
that's what I'm saying. So that's why that's why I'm asking. Is like, how is it?
But I'm sure they're lovely, but they're no AMD.
No.
I do have friends who actually stream it. And like stream it like on Twitch and show to show it off, like, and it works fine. Like, which is pretty, like, to think about, like you're streaming the game, like you will think something will be lacking. It's just like they're both running very well. So
yeah, I think it'd be interesting to see like if they start integrating this stuff, like what Steam could potentially be if that was going to be added. Like I think potentially like it may be just like remote play. I can imagine maybe having that as a thing where if your Xbox is in the living room and your PC's in the other, and being able to just use your Xbox to just jump in and stream from your PC, I think would be doable. And I would be okay with that. But whether if it's like like a whole cloud service where I can just play off of Steam, I don't think that like I don't see that being a thing. But as the sort of the screenshot looks of when you take a look at the store and you see a game, and it's like, oh, do you want to play this on Xbox or do you want to play this on GeForce Now? I think it's like if it's because it's a service based for that. I think that's makes sense. Where Steam is more product based than service. So that's where I would see if Steam was to be added for Xbox, it probably would more likely be remote play.
Yeah, the Steam link.
My assumption is it would probably operate like a ROG Ally or something like that, where you'd have the storefronts available.
Hardware. Turn into what Bill Gates originally wanted the Xbox to be, like a
like an in-home PC. I think was the original vision for the Xbox, which is kind of weird to think about. But
well, it was Bill Gates' vision,
that was Bill Gates' vision. Yeah,
Bill Gates
he screamed at the people that were like, "No, we're not doing that."
Look up the Xbox documentary, and then you'll hear when you hear about the Valentine's Day massacre. That's the meeting that we're talking about.
That was a good documentary. That was
a great doc.
It was really
kind of like very honest, which was cool.
Yeah. It
was awesome.
So Call of Duty is getting some wrestlers, some
Let's
wrestling.
go,
Riley.
You guys some wrestling.
Crazy for this one. Yeah.
Chat was blowing up.
Yeah.
I was blowing it up a lot.
You're blowing it up. Look at this and this.
You had some adrenaline.
Everyone else going crazy. I don't know.
Exactly. I couldn't even read the chat. It was so fast, Rhea Ripley, Cody Rhodes, and Rey Mysterio coming to Call of Duty.
No John Cena.
Oh, John Cena. But
you
can't see the man.
True.
But first of all, no Xavier Woods. Like, where's the up, down love? Come on.
That's true. They're the guys who actually play video games.
At least be in there. I'm just saying.
Years of War.
Yeah,
that's fair.
I mean, these are, but that's I think the only game that they've been the New Day has been in, or anything Xavier Woods. But that's true. They are. You're right.
Yeah. And Batista's and Gears as
Gears
well.
Of War. Yeah.
I think that the relationship starts somewhere. And
Mysterio hasn't played a damn game. You know very well. Get him out of there.
Hey, what?
I think it's like the choices are pretty strategic.
Bring on Dirty Dom. Put him in.
Rhea Ripley and Cody Rhodes.
You gotta have Cody. You gotta have
the
big face, right? Like
Rhea Ripley and Cody Rhodes are both the faces for the cover of the current video game.
Yeah.
How about Bianca?
So that makes total sense to me. And then Rey Mysterio is like a living legend. Who spans like WWF, WCW to the modern WWE era. Like, he's been around forever. So it's like, I get it. Like, I think they're pretty good choices. I hope that they continue the partnership though.
Yeah, I hope so too.
I love when we see these characters show up in other places. But like, I was kind of hoping. I know I'm a like Attitude Era fan, so I was really hoping for maybe Stone Cold Steve Austin.
I want that glass
move, like stunner people and the Rock with the rock bottom or the People's Elbow would be like all that stuff would be so good. So I'm thrilled with Cody. I love
the special. I love the special mode that they have in that they're going to have in there, where you can't confirm a kill until you do a finisher move on them. Which I was like, that's like dope. Like doing a crossroads against somebody, like, or a 619, like that.
Oh man, I can't wait to 619 someone. That's gonna be so dope.
It's gonna be awesome.
Wait, how would that work without the ropes?
I don't know. I'm assuming you could do it, but the whole pass is like WWE themed.
Yeah.
So isn't there like a ring? Like is it a ring?
There is one ring. Map with a ring.
But let's say like you're just in the open world or whatever on a map in Warzone. How are you gonna do the 619 finisher?
I don't know.
Teleport. A ring's gonna drop down.
Maybe leaning on his gun, like it's just stand up straight. He kind of he kind of holds onto it as he stands.
Oh, you know what?
Like he like a whole rope shows up.
That's totally
right. Work. It does do that. Doesn't Smash.
You just just basic kind of like finisher moves. Like, because I saw like Rhea Ripley have a sledgehammer in one of the clips. So like she never used a sledgehammer. Like that's Triple H's thing. So I could see them, or actually Rowan's thing now. I could see them kind of like being generic. Crossroads is an easy one.
I saw a clip of the cross. I saw a clip of Rhea Ripley doing the crossroads.
Yeah, I saw the one too. I was like,
I'm
Randy
God
Orton?
damn, where's
Yeah.
Randy?
Oh, that's right. The RKO. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I think it's just, whatever fits, whatever works.
Yeah. It's
So
cool.
Here's the
cool
pass here.
collab.
You get a lot. This is a great way to get people back. I mean, people never left Warzone, but
This is absolutely my season. Like this, I see that.
Like,
oh yeah,
really?
Yeah,
they look like, here you go, Riley. You got. We'll give you the scoop first.
I guess I'm playing Call of Duty for several months now. It's unlocked. We got a quick little peek at like the different like paths for the season pass, and one of the execution moves is just like hitting someone with a steel chair. So I'm like, okay, that's kind of incredible.
I love it.
Like, yeah, I love it. Rhea Ripley's in it, so I'm down. I'm in.
Yeah. That's really cool. It was a great trailer, and I'm honestly like out of nowhere. It's like an RKO. I was like,
out of nowhere.
I know where
it should be. As it should be.
Yeah.
I love little collabs like this. Honestly, like I know some people are starting to get like I've seen some like the dialogue online where people are like, "What has Call of Duty become? What have they done?" And it's like, come on, man.
I feel like Call of Duty
just have a little bit of fun in your life, man. Like, you want there to be another season full of generic Army Man number 72. Like let's say, who cares? Rhea Ripley, yeah, all right.
I mean, I feel like majority
the past two
seasons.
The past two seasons, I mean, have been really cool. Like you had you have WWE in this one. You had the previous season. You had like the sort of the pixelated game, like 16-bit kind of version, and I was like, that was pretty cool. Let's just make Call of Duty fun.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
Majority of people are playing Call of Duty or watching wrestling. So like, come on.
Yeah, that's a great.
Honestly, it's a good crossover for that reason. I agree.
Also, they have that cell ship. That's like a cell shaded ship.
Yeah, they
as
have
well.
a cell shaded mode.
That looks really cool.
Cell shaded maps and characters, and then characters as well, which is cool.
Yeah. Caboose, you said you want to talk about Marvel Rivals? What's going on there?
Well, just the beta's coming out in a couple of days
5
now.
days, right?
We're gonna have Venom in there, obviously. Adam
Marvel
Warlock
kids, they're coming back.
Not just Venom,
Get your
not
ready.
just regular Venom.
Oh yeah, and with the beta, obviously, the exclusive Marvel vs. Capcom Blue Venom is gonna be in there.
Go.
You're gonna take you for a ride. Yeah. No,
why?
I'm just
why that was a thing, right? Why they made it that color?
Tell me.
Apparently they had like a certain number of like color palettes they could do, and with the back in the day, and they couldn't just do like pitch black as well for like a fighting game. So that's why they did it. And Marvel was like, Marvel was pissed. Marvel was like, we don't want this, don't do this. And like back then, you could tell Marvel like, yeah, okay, whatever, and they just did it anyway. Like, because Marvel,
iconic.
And it became iconic now. Absolutely,
yeah. I mean, the blue shading for Venom is iconic. Yeah. Obviously, people love to the purple, and even if you're a fan of like the animated series, the little 3D red and blue. I love that.
Honestly, it had like the blue Venom, like had that, like that X-Men 97 sort of animations.
I'm surprised that Marvel pushed back so hard on that, because that Neversoft Spider-Man game, Venom was blue in that too.
True. Yeah.
Actually, when did that Neversoft Spider-Man game come out? 2000s. Okay, so
but this is like 19. This is the 90s.
Exactly. So a little further out, but still, Venom was just full on blue in that one too. So maybe by the time we got to this game, Marvel was like, actually, that's kind of cool.
It happened already.
Yeah. They're like, wait a second.
They're going less puny and more like we need to make it look cool.
But honestly, overall, I am really hyped to jump back into Marvel Rivals. I've been itching to get another opportunity to play the game. I'm just really excited to try out Venom as well. They've shown little gameplay snippets for the character, and he looks like a ton of fun. Just got like speed and stuff like that you expect out of a character like Spider-Man, but you're playing as a tank. Like, hell yes, sign me up for that. And plus, like, you can team up with Spider-Man, give him like the symbiote, and then he has symbiote abilities. It's so cool. It's really so cool. This game honestly is really shaping up to be one of the more fun hero shooters out there. I really, really hope they stick the landing, and I also hope as well that like when it does come out and when it's like fully launched, that the post-launch support is frequent and at a steady enough pace to keep people involved and keep people wanting to come back, because that's just the name of the game, right? If you're gonna do a free-to-play sort of live servicey thing, that's what you got to do. You better have some post-launch content at the ready. Balancing, it's obviously there's some work to do, but it's way more balanced than I would have expected it to be. when I played that alpha and mate's way more polished than I would have expected it to be. This game it's in a pretty good spot, at least from what I can see. I'm seeing what we put in the Discord.
Sorry, Steve, you can't do that to me mid speech.
I looked at Marcel and Riley, and you guys are smiling, and I was like, "What did I say? What did I say?" And then I looked over, and I was like, okay, so it wasn't anything I said.
You're good. It's just you can't be literally busting this out.
So for our listeners, Boss Logic has photoshopped a Captain America poster with the Deadpool controller, except it's a Captain America controller with
America's
a juicy pair of buns right there. Yeah,
that's America's ass troller right there.
Yes, there we go.
I don't know. It was because we were mentioning it earlier, and I just opened up Twitter, and it's the first thing that came up. It was like someone quote tweeting it, and I was like, "That's hilarious."
Sometimes I have a really strong hate and love with Twitter, but it has its gems. Sometimes I gotta give them that. This is fantastic. Yeah,
truly.
Yeah, but no, yeah, I'm definitely looking forward towards it as well. I had a great time. Even with all the Marvel heads popping in chat.
You know what I'm really excited about?
I'm super excited for them.
They're doing Twitch drops with the beta, so if people watch streams, they can get their hands on a code. Nobody needs to be sitting in chat begging for one to give away. Just watch a stream, and you're going to be able to get into the beta and try it out, which is awesome as well for things like opportunities like what I said with the fact that Venom costume, the blue Venom, it's exclusive to the beta. It's a permanent unlock for the full game, but you can only get it by playing in this beta. So if you love Venom, the Scarlet Spider costume, the PlayStation exclusive one, I really don't care about that costume. For me, it's it really bums me out that it was just a color palette essentially, rather than like the full on like Kane Scarlet Spider from the comic books. But what can you do? There's going to be a lot of really cool costumes, I imagine, when that full game drops. You're going to have to spend some money. You better get that wallet ready when Marvel Rivals comes out, because if you like Marvel,
get off your wallets.
It's this game is going to rob you, but I am really excited.
You're talking so passionately about it. I just want to give you money.
Oh, thank you. Please fund my addiction to buy costumes in Marvel Rivals. By all means.
Yeah, you know what? No, like now from now on, anytime Aaron streams on Twitch, you pay a sub, that'll buy his his skins in Marvel Rivals.
Set donation goals every stream for help me buy 10 skins today for Marvel Rivals.
We have a 10 skin donation goal.
I love it. So that's what we're gonna set up. That's what. But no, I'm hyped. I'm hyped to get my hands on it again come Tuesday. There's some other stuff I got going on next week, so I'm gonna miss the actual drop of the beta. But I'm just excited to play it through that week. And you know what?
A 48 hour, 72 hour.
There you go.
Stream.
There you go. But you know what? What I'm most hyped about for the future of Marvel Rivals, and they're already starting to do it. They did it with the alpha. They're going to be doing it again with the beta. It's the esports, man. The competitive play, watching people playing at the highest level. That sort of stuff is really, really exciting for me. I can't wait to see. So especially there's a lot of crazy Overwatch players out of their minds, incredible at this game, jumping into Marvel Rivals and showing off things that you can do with characters that other people were like, oh, this character kind of sucks. People were, when that alpha was out, were like, Spider-Man and Black Panther just ain't working. Don't know. And I watched this guy who makes them look like the best characters in the game, man. And I love that stuff. I love when in the right hands, any of these characters can be really strong, and that's really, really exciting for me, especially for whenever we get some tournaments and some esports and stuff like that for Marvel Rivals.
I've definitely seen some Spider-Man characters, players who just took over the game.
Just in and out, you can't shoot them.
It's like a goddamn mosquito. I'm like, stay in one spot, damn it.
But I'm also happy too that it's going to be a console beta. I think that was one of the things that was very tough for me. I can't really do mouse and keyboard. I did use my controller on PC, and I got by. I did all right. But I'm looking forward to having some lobbies where it's just a bunch of other people on a controller. So at least I know okay, I can kind of keep up,
It's crossplay though.
I think there's going to be crossplay. I believe as well, they said they were exploring potentially to do cross progression. I don't know if that's going to be in there right away, but I think that they were exploring that or they were hearing kind of the outcry for something like that to be implemented, which I'm all about as well. Obviously, you want just, if I got a skin here, I can use it on whatever platform, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
Do we know you have to you have to earn the Blue Venom skin in the beta, right? Like,
so
you
if it's
don't just get it for playing it.
If it's like what they did with the Scarlet Witch costume in the alpha, then yes, like they have like a battle pass sort of thing where you do daily challenges and then weekly challenges, and those build through your battle pass to inevitably unlock the costume. The only thing is you do got to be playing like almost every day. Like if it was anything like that Scarlet Witch costume, like you've got to play it pretty frequently, because the only way you're progressing through the battle pass is through daily challenges, and then inevitably when the weekly challenge resets.
All right.
Yeah.
So
you got to put a bit of work in. You got to put a bit of work in.
Like, I know, like last time was like 5. I think the last time was like 5 days. The last beta was, I think, or something like that. And I got it on the 4th.
I think it was like a week. It was
like okay. Basically, I got it like the day before it ended, because I know a lot of people were like, I got the game today. Is it possible for me to get it? I'm like, dude, I don't think so, man.
Sadly,
you're out of
no.
luck.
But
Sorry,
you know what?
buddy.
That's just that's the exclusivity of it all, right? Like sometimes there's just got to be some really cool items, especially for those people out there who are signing up, have the opportunity to get into these alphas or betas. Like it's an exclusive opportunity.
There's also that
so
level 10 thing. If you reach level 10, then you get in.
Yes. So if you played the alpha and you hit level 10 in the alpha, you get automatic access into the beta. But like I said, there's going to be Twitch drops. I'm going to be streaming it a whole bunch. I imagine Marcel, you're going to be streaming it a whole bunch.
I'm all in.
There's going to be a million opportunities. There's pretty much no excuse. There's no way you can be sitting there complaining, being like, I didn't get my hands on a code. Like signing up is not going to be the only way to do it. So thankfully, people like myself, people like Marcel, and plenty of other people out there who are going to be streaming Marvel Rivals come Tuesday for that entire duration of the beta, you're going to have plenty of chances to get your hands on it. There's also like the whole friend code thing. When you hit level 6, you can share a code with a friend. They do a really good job of wanting to make sure as many people can get their hands on the game as possible without like overloading the servers. Because I feel like if they did just a straight up open beta, it's game over. Like you're talking about a Marvel hero shooter. Going open on that beta would be like, all right, so we're not playing for one day at least until
nobody gets Blue Venom.
That's not a cool thing. If you played against the devs, you get like a special like emblem or something.
They did that for the alpha. I tried every single day during the time slots that they would do it. Did not get to match up against a single dev. So I missed out on that spray. But maybe they'll do it again for the beta, and I'm definitely going to put my work in to try and get it. Yeah,
absolutely. I must say, NetEase, they are like they're cooking.
Doing good.
Like,
doing good. Yeah.
Marvel Rivals, Fragpunk, like they're not missing right now.
And it's interesting because they used to just be like, these guys make mobile games, you know? It's like, whatever, right? But now they've dipped their toes into the console market, and they're coming out with some pretty heavy hitting shooter games, hero shooters, I guess specifically. I didn't play.
The artwork is fantastic. As well.
I love it. I love the visuals in Marvel Rivals. It's such a beautiful game.
Rivals and Fragpunk alone, it literally just like it was the trailer. I'm like, this. I get blown away by this. This
awesome
artwork. It's fantastic.
Awesome. Yeah.
Just very quickly, do you want to talk about Suicide Squad? I guess it's coming out.
Yeah. So
you're loving some ice traversal. I saw.
You know what? Okay, yes. They showed a little gameplay snippet
of
the newest character, which is Mrs. Freeze, not Mr. Freeze. And they showed like the traversal, like a quick like 5-second clip of the traversal, and it looks pretty awesome.
It does look cool.
The one thing, pun intended, the one thing that I have always praised the game for is that its gameplay, its traversal, its gunplay, all that stuff really works for me. I love free roaming around the open world. Like it's the only reason why I have like over 100 hours in the game, because I can tell you it's not because of the story. But like the gameplay it was effective for me, and it was where I was like, oh, this is kind of the Rocksteady that I know. You know what I mean? It's obviously that story is where it really all falls apart. But yeah, Mrs. Freeze looks like she's going to be a lot of fun to play as. That much is for sure. But they're still following the same model that they did with the Joker, where you're going to have to put in quite a grind to unlock the character for free. Otherwise, you will most likely be able to pay $10 to just boom, you have the character. And if it's anything like the Joker season, don't expect any story, maybe a cutscene, if that. Outside of that, just some motion comics here and there. It's just, At this point, from the sounds of it, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League is going to put out the content that they had planned. Their seasons 1 through 4, and then that'll be that. Like they're just like, I don't even know if it's like a skeleton crew thing. It's just they didn't have the most amazing ideas post-launch. They didn't have these like big, ambitious like story expansions. They just had like, here's a new character and some dialogue and some new guns. You know, like I don't know. I just feel like Rockstar just wasn't ready for this type of game. They certainly weren't cut out for it.
I think that they probably were expecting it to have a much longer like run as like you know, as players be like, oh, this is like if the game was really good, people would still be playing it, so that way, you know, as they were ramping up the seasons, they could basically like it gets people kind of keep playing, because it only came out in January, so it's like
just needed to not kill the Justice League. Like I know it's the name of the game, but
I mean, like the game is what the game is now, and there's nothing that can be done. But I think that's probably why, at least post-launch content, they're you know, there's not much there as of yet. I think they're probably like, it seemed as if they were like leaning up to, or like, you know, like they're going to start adding some more stuff as they go, but it just seems like now, because no one's really playing it, it's just like, well, what's the point? Or not, like there's nothing else that's kind of keeping me interested, and like other than like, oh cool, I get to have like a neat little ice slide traversal thing.
Yeah, you only just have to grind through like 10 hours of content to maybe be able to get that character for free, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's really frustrating. It's really frustrating when like the game gets some things right, and like really right. Like the traversal is amazing. Like it's actually so good, and it's so good that it like almost makes me mad, you know, like where it's like this game is so fun to play that it's upsetting how many things they like missed the mark on. Because if they were firing the way that they were on the traversal, the way that they were on the gunplay, with the story, with the writing, with the enemy variety, with the mission variety, we could be looking at like another incredible Arkhamverse game from Rocksteady. You know, maybe okay, the live service elements they falter a little bit, because just every live service game nowadays is just impossible to break through those ceilings. But if we could have just had a good story that was worthwhile, if we could have just had some fun missions that were decent enough to want to come back to and try again and again, some build crafting that for the RPG fans would have been engaging enough, this could have been like a 7.5, 8 out of 10 type of game that's like not breaking new ground, but not the worst thing ever, you know, not looked at as like one of the hardest falls from grace maybe in the history of the games industry.
Yeah. I think the biggest tragedy of the whole thing is essentially we probably will never be able to hear the full final lines as of Kevin Conroy as Batman. If maybe the rumors of it, like they've already had content planned for it, with new lines from him, I think I think it's the ultimate tragedy. But you know, if the ultimate last line was what was in the, you know, as we were talking about earlier, the Infinite Crisis, I think that's a better way for it. Like I would want to remember like the last lines of Batman than necessarily like what we had in Suicide Squad.
For sure.
He put in the best performance that he could for Batman in that game. It not like, I think it didn't hit, and I think we talked about it ad nauseum. It didn't hit in what we wanted Batman to be in that. But I think, you know, I don't think that diminishes that was it, like the last time we play a game with him in it. That I don't think that like still diminishes the legacy that he had.
Yeah, no, agreed. I still hope that if there were plans to bring him back, because there's like a big Easter egg in the game that fully hints, like there's like a bunch of calendars scattered around the open world with the dates circled. And if you like convert the numbers on the circled dates to letters, it spells out he will return.
Yeah.
And like, I think the last calendar you find has the Arkham Batman logo, which insinuates Batman will return. But I don't know if like, was that a tease for Arkham Shadow? Or was that a tease for like, no, the Arkham Batman is coming back in our post-launch content for this game? But like, if they did record some stuff with Kevin Conroy, obviously before he passed, if they do have some fun stuff planned with bringing back the Justice League, even then, what audience is that going to reach? Nobody's playing this game. Nobody's really looking up this game. Nobody's paying attention to this game. You just got to hope that some rogue tweet about, oh my God, they brought back Batman blows up to get some people to want to be like, oh, let me check this out. All right. Let me jump back in. Like,
but then you probably had to play 40 hours to get to that content.
Almost certainly. Yes.
Yeah.
But,
it's sad is like right on Steam right now. Currently, Suicide Squad has 263 players.
Yeah, it's really bad. It's really bad.
I mean, it was free on.
And wow, there's 155 people watching it on Steam or on Twitch right now.
Yeah,
but
I'm surprised anyone's even streaming it. To be honest,
oh,
it is what it is.
Very, you think
very
no one wants
unfortunate.
to like, why? What are you doing here?
Very unfortunate for what is still. They're still like. I still know a lot of people that work at Rocksteady, and I wish them nothing but the best. I'd have to imagine that none of them were like they were out to make a bad game. They were not like putting 7 years of development to be like, we really hope this one sucks, guys. Nobody sets out for that. Obviously, they missed the mark, and it is what it is. There's all these this talk of oh, is the studio getting shut down? I personally don't put stock into that. I don't think that that's going to happen. I know that in this gaming landscape, that's something you do have to worry about. I mean, just recently there was a report coming out about NetherRealm that just shut down their mobile arm. So I get it. It's a very real thing that happens. I don't think that will apply to Rocksteady. I think Rocksteady gets another shot before we see something like that. If they make another big AAA game and it massively misses the mark, then we maybe start sounding the alarms and pushing the panic buttons. But right now, this is just hey, you guys screwed up. Deliver on the next one,
It's kind of unfortunate. We're in a day and age where you're not allowed to fail anymore. Because then you're okay, well,
you're not even allowed to succeed. You're not even allowed to succeed. Insomniac delivering banger after banger, massive AAA titles that make them insane amounts of money and still suffer layoffs. The industry is it's cooked.
It's messed up, man.
Yeah, I think so I have a little podcast, Patreon podcast that I do, and I was talking about it this morning about because there was more layoffs and stuff, and it makes I kind of think right now AAA is kind of in that position where I think they need to right now they need to batten down the hatches and sort of try to figure out in order to be able a way to be able to keep them as efficient and cost effective as possible without hopefully laying off more people. And I hope that that's something that can be done. But I think right now, I think that this is the and I've said it before, but I think this is the year of not only just PC games but also of indies. I think that there was we were on there was a report that came out this morning that the first 6 months of 2024 not only was on par with last year, but it was also on par with fewer games, fewer AAA games. Last year, it was what was it? It was Hogwarts. It was I'm blanking on all of them right now. There was at least 3 AAA games that came out within the first 6 months of 2023, and 2024 with the only kind of big games that have been hit for it was Helldivers and Power World and Final Fantasy VII. So I think what I like to see is that more what could come out of these 16,000 people that have been laid off in the industry is that they're able to find funding to be able to go off and make a game on their own with a very small team and find success with it. There was the guy who made that multiplayer game that of the action figures that looked like you were playing in a toy store.
Oh yeah,
oh cool.
Some people were making fun of the fact that they only sold 500,000 copies, but the developer, there's one that sold it was 2 or 3 people that worked on that team, and he's
5 people that made it.
Yeah, exactly. It's you don't know how much money that makes us personally. That is huge for us. 500,000 may not seem like a lot compared to other games, but to a small team like that, that's huge. That basically puts them into a place where they can actually be able to make another game, and that's where I think
it's when you hear about an indie movie that was made on a shoestring budget for $10,000 or something, and it makes $2 million at the box office. Yeah. But to everyone else, it's like, that's it. But it's like the movie was made for like $10,000. Like that's insane profit.
Massive profit.
So for a game like you're talking about, that indie game where the action figures is like an FPS, such a cool concept, by the way, for it to sell as much as it has, simply as well because like that game is so marketable. It's so like, here's this 10-second Twitter clip of this really cool idea that you have all thought about since your childhood. You know, what if there was a video game that's all my toys, but it's a video game, you know, like hell yeah.
Smash Brothers was built off of that. That's
so it's so cool. It's so
like
cool.
even the Strange Scaffold, like that indie studio by Xavier Nelson Jr. Like what's it called, Marcel? Like click holding, where it's literally you're clicking. All you're doing is just clicking and numbers go up, and it's like there's a horror game made out of it. Like the fact that exists.
Chained Together, this other massive game that's popping up probably made for like $10 and a stack of gum. Like these games that are like super, super small budget are finding crazy audiences, which is awesome. But I feel like just in general, like the industry is still learning the wrong lessons, you know? Like, and it's always going to be that way.
First of all, that gum was delicious.
Yeah, it was
I think what I would love to be able to see for these kind of like creators who want to be able to still keep making games and they just don't have like the budget to be able to do it. I think what I hope to see would be the smart thing to do would be to try to eliminate a lot of the production cost as much as possible and put a majority of that budget that they have into marketing and PR, because I think that's the only way unfortunately, for indie games to kind of stand out when the fact that there's thousands of games coming on Steam, like almost like on a weekly basis. And so it is hard to stand out. But you're like as you said, Marcel, like that, all it needs is like maybe like one clip that just like it hits on Twitter and be like, oh, what game is that? And it just it blows up. Like Among Us was a perfect example of that. It launched for like a year or two before it became super popular. Granted, the pandemic really helped out with that, but it's still a success. Like, and it was like what, like less than 10 people making that game, and you know, and it became this global phenomenon.
Other people,
exactly. So
they have their own TV show coming out. Like, come on.
Yeah, so I think
and Among Us was one of those games too where it had been out for a little while, right?
Yeah,
like it was Twitch streamers.
Some streamer found it, thought it was fun, played it with their friends, and next thing you know, it is like it became like a Fortnite phenomenon where just everybody is playing it, everybody is talking about it. Granted, it's kind of left the zeitgeist now, but it's still like when you hear about Among Us, you know it. You know the game. You know what it's about, right?
People dress up for it as Halloween, like.
Like,
I mean, there's an animated series coming with like huge stars that are playing these characters in it. Like, and again, like with the Summer Game Fest, they were able to announce that they're funding other games, as you said, Marcel. Like with Outer Sloth. Like I think that. Like that's like those are the kind of success stories we need to see more of in the industry, especially now, instead of, you know, the news cycles of, oh, this studio has massive layoffs. Like literally today, NetherRealm laid off their entire mobile division. I don't know. I think that what I'm hoping to see that this year, that the lesson people find out this year is that creative games that are made by smaller teams can compete with AAA. And I hope that AAA takes the right lessons to learn on how to become sustainable, like through them, like the big budgets the big amount of resources or whatever that they keep throwing at it to hopefully be able to make their money back is not sustainable. It's not going to work anymore. They need to take the lessons of what indie studios have been doing for the past couple of years now. And like, I will say this, I'm a AAA guy. I am so excited for a lot of the AAA games that are coming out just even this year. Like my most anticipated game of this year is literally Star Wars Outlaws. But what I am seeing more of this year and what I'm loving more this year is I'm not only like buying more games on Steam, which is something I rarely have ever done, but I'm also like interested in looking at indie titles that I would never have looked at before. I looked at one yesterday, Magical Delicacies. It's a cozy game where you get to make like food that has like magic stuff in it. Like I don't know. That would never interest me before, but I'm like, I wonder what that's like. You know, people seem to enjoy these kind of games. Maybe I could jump into it. Like it's drawing me in, and I'm not fully there yet. I still think that I will still fully enjoy AAAs more than I will with indies, but hey, there's some indies that are out there that are pretty good. Like I may check it out.
You should try out Angerfoot. If you ever,
I really want to try Eggerfoot. I heard some interesting
shit
accessibility in that one. So
That game
just
looks
kick the shit
incredible.
out of people. That game is awesome.
Yeah.
Man.
I need to reach out to Devolver. I need to get access to that game because I love to play
go to the Devolver, man. They're that game is awesome.
And that's the thing too, like having a studio like or having a publisher like Devolver or Annapurna being able to take these indie titles and and make them even better. Like what was the game that
mixtape with Annapurna that's coming up?
Mixtape, but there was one game at Summer Game Fest. Oh, it was Bloomhouse. They had they have a game that was already done. It was already like what was it? I was out or it was just about to be out. And then they were like, and then Bloomhouse was like, you know what? Hey, we're just going to give you more money. What can you do with it? And it's just like we need more. We need more stories like that.
Fear the spotlight.
Fear the spotlight. Yeah. I think that's awesome.
Like your game. Here's money, and they're like, all right, we're taking it off. We're taking it off Steam and making it better now. It's wild. Yeah, crazy, man.
Sorry, I went into a massive tangent there.
Hey, it's a conversation that needs to happen. People need to know what's going on. Going on this weekend, we got Evo, one of my favorite times of the year. Honestly, even if you're not a fighting game fan, it is so. Just put it on your TV. Just you'll have a blast watching Evo, man. Evo is a great time. All the crazy FGC fans and everything just screaming at the top of the lungs, and it's in the best.
Engaging the FGC for just a little, just a tiny, get a little sample size.
And when they punch the wall,
you're gonna want more, man. Yeah,
you're all free now.
Yeah,
it's so good.
I went to my first ever Evo last year. It was one of the most incredibly fun trips I've ever been on in my life.
Any crazy announcements you think is coming out? You want to predict anything?
Well, they already have Takeda dropping for Mortal Kombat 1, and then I think they've announced that there's a big year 2 panel happening for Mortal Kombat 1 at San Diego.
Oh, is there? At Comic-Con or at Evo?
San Diego Comic-Con. Yeah, the description for the panel explains there's potentially gonna be new fighter reveals, lots of new stuff. The image they put out said Mortal Kombat 1 year 2 at San Diego Comic-Con. Our friend Steve actually, or I don't know how many of you guys know Khalif. On me, he's hosting the panel.
Oh, that's right. He is hosting that panel. Yeah.
That's to him, man. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Do you think that we're gonna see finally Riot's FGC at Evo?
It's gonna be there in some form. Riot's fighting game 2KXO.
Yeah, 2KXO.
Yeah. Well, actually, I don't know if they're gonna they have it part of the lineup.
No, I don't think it's part of where you can play it, but maybe an announcement or something there.
Yeah, maybe some sort of reveals or something for that. I could see that.
Yeah.
Marvel versus Capcom is also there, which is kind of.
I think. Here's my wild prediction. Collection. They're gonna give us the date for that collection at Evo.
Ooh. Yeah, probably.
I think you're probably right.
Yeah,
and that'd be a good time to do it.
Safe prediction.
And it's gonna launch.
When do you think? Monday. You think it'll be like a shadow drop?
Marvel vs. Capcom collections to be on a Monday.
No,
yeah, I don't know about
shadow drop. That's my prediction.
I don't know if they shadow drop it at least until most people are back from Evo.
I'd say that'd be my bet. I'd say probably August or September.
Yeah, I could see that.
It seems like August seems a little crowded at the moment, so I probably maybe lean towards September. But who knows? It just depends on if it's because it's also isn't it? I know it's on other consoles, but it's Nintendo. I think owns the PR cycle of it, the marketing of it, right? Yeah. So
to an extent,
and Nintendo doesn't really have a
Tuesday. Then forget it.
And I would say and Nintendo doesn't have the best relationship when it comes to Evo,
which is a bummer to be honest.
Right?
Sony bought it, and then they're like, no, we're not.
Yeah, didn't they also they were gonna have Smash at Evo at one point, and then I'm thinking of a different one where there was a tournament that Nintendo shut down.
The one in Detroit.
Yeah, that's it. Never mind. I was thinking that I was confusing that with Evo, but it's what it is.
I still say it comes out now. Now you say Nintendo PR related. I say it comes out next week. That's what I'm saying.
I think,
I could see it. I mean, Capcom will do whatever they want. So
true. Is Street Fighter part of Evo? The 6? I
think
assume.
it's the main event, right?
It's the main. Okay.
It's the big. Yeah.
And
then MK1, I think, did it make it to the final day, or is it the day before?
So Mortal Kombat 1 pretty much never gets the Sunday slot. And honestly, Mortal Kombat 1, a lot of people who go to Evo who are a part of the MK scene specifically complain about not being treated well at Evo. But it's just honestly, it's honestly because the game is just inaccessible in so many countries because of how violent it is. So it just doesn't have as far of as an outreach as games like Street Fighter or Tekken do. So at Evo, like it's just never gonna get that kind of love. You know, they'll always have it there. Mortal Kombat will always have a place at Evo because it is one of the big three, right? But it's just never going to get that level of respect, and it's just mainly because it doesn't reach as far and wide as some of the other fighting games that are on the market.
What a bummer.
Yeah.
If you're in the city, our good friends at Real Sports, they're hosting a watch party on Sunday. So if you want to do, that's some free mocktails from 6 to 10. And this is not an ad. I just remember I wrote about it. So
who's going? I might go to that.
I'm gonna pop in for a little bit, but I had to come back like at 8. So
okay,
I'll be there from 6 till something. So
cool. I won't. There's a reason why, but it's like
cryptic.
No, not really. I talk about at the end. Well,
all right, perfect.
Wrap it up.
Wrap it up right now. Yeah. And make sure to pick up your Nintendo World Championship in the NES edition at you can no longer pre-order at Walmart. Pick it up now.
That is the order.
Buy it now. Sorry.
I played some of it. It's fun. It's pretty cool.
It looks fun. The only thing I'm kind of sad about, no proper leaderboards.
That's a bummer.
I heard about that.
Yeah. I was like, oh man, like that seems like almost like a no-brainer, but
there we go.
Nintendo, good at Nintendo.
It's like, now, it's like,
only
now. Who knows?
Looking at it, looking at it, I feel like they're like, so the weirdest thing, and I always find this really interesting, was like I booted up the game for the first time. It's pretty standard. It's like, here's a couple of emblems you can unlock. You play the games and earn coins to buy additional like NES sprites as your emblem or something like that. Pretty standard. So you pick your emblem and then it asks you, what's your favorite NES game? And I'm like, it's going to like Duck Hunt, Mario. And I boot it up and it's like Spider-Man and Batman. And I'm like, what? Like, and Mike Tyson's Punch Out. Like it lists all the rare games, everything. Like you can pick from any of the NES games that ever existed, it seems like. Like, and like in title, you can pick like the Batman Forever NES game, or like Spider-Man, like, or any of those. I was like, this is like, is this like a rights thing? Can you just say the name of these things and attach it to? I don't
see why not. Especially that a lot of them had to have the Nintendo Silver approval.
Back to the Future,
that's right. Yeah,
like they had a bunch of stuff.
You know what's one thing that this game actually like taught me already is that I've never actually seen what Adventures of Link look like before.
Oh yeah,
I just thought it was another like it was just a clone of the first one. I had no idea that it was a side scroller,
a whole different beast.
I had no clue, and I was looking at footage or the gameplay, and I was like, wait, what game is that? Why do I see Link in there? And then it popped up on top. It was like Adventures of Link. I'm like, holy fuck! I had no idea.
What did they do to my boy?
Well, not just that. I was just like, man,
a lot of back in the day, a lot of people were upset by that game. They're like, I don't really like this one.
That's why I heard because I never looked
one.
into it. I was like, who cares about Link? Adventures of Link. It's just like, I'm not going to do that. But apparently, no, it was different than I expected. So
you ruined everything I love. Yeah.
No, that's available right now, and I think that's pretty much it. Riley, what's going on?
Not much. I've been going through the Xbox 360 storefront, and I'm trying to get all my ducks in a row before it closes at the end of the month.
Ooh, good call. I need to look into that.
It's super interesting. Like going back, I briefly talked about it before, but just like the profile stuff and kind of like different qualities of the consoles.
I feel like your old messages are still there.
Yeah, I noticed that. Like all the like I moved
voice messages. I'm like, wait a minute.
I can't remember which game it was, but when I booted it up and it had like my old save, like from a cloud version of the 360 game. I was like, damn, okay.
It's crazy. Like just going through it, I'm like, oh man, like I want that, or oh man, I gotta get that. Like it's like different things like that. But like even the payment system's weird. The system's like, I don't know. It's got to be held together with like rubber bands and chewing gum at this stuff, like the servers, because it is like shaken, like it is like barely functioning. So you've got to like navigate, and then maybe the menu will reset, and then you got to go back in and do it again, and then finally get the download. But it's like, it's really cool to go back in and do that. Like some of the Avatar props from like the Avengers film or Deadpool, they have stuff like that is like kind of neat to see. And it's like, oh yeah, that, or oh yeah, that DLC. Like there was a Tony Hawk Pro Skater game. I don't know. I'm just going through it and it's just like a trip. I'm like, oh, Tony Hawk Pro Skater. And I look at the DLC and it's like, what 360 got like Cuphead and Sunset Overdrive content on the 360 version of Tony Hawk.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
Stuff like that. It's crazy. And then like Sonic and Sega All-Stars on Xbox 360 has Banjo-Kazooie. It's the only one that has it. That does not go to the new consoles at all for some reason. So it's like little pieces of history that I'm like, I kind of just want to sort this out, and then I can put it on a shelf and access it when I want to. But like Marvel vs. Capcom, I re-downloaded.
I'm about to say the Origins are on there, right? Yeah.
Yeah, Origins and Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Like I've got MVC 2. Some of the Turtles in Time, like the Reshelled, which was a Ubisoft game, was incredible. The Watchmen games, there's a part 1 and part 2, which are really
Third Strike Online.
There was a
Watchmen Online, and they're all on sale.
They were like
there's
really small. Yeah, like
they're
little like
games.
arcade games. There you go. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So those are there, but like they don't carry forward to the other ones. So I've been going through and looking at it. The original Batman Arkham games, Blackgate, I think is exclusive to PS3. It might be on PC, but it's on.
Wait, Blackgate, the one that was like a PSP game?
Yeah.
You can play that on console now?
Only on 360.
What?
Yeah,
I had no idea about this.
Yeah, so it's like if you don't buy it now, like it's gone. Like it doesn't come to like I think it was on 3DS as well.
Yeah. It was on 3D. The 3DS version was like
terrible. This is like deluxe like nights. But I was like, well, I'm gonna get that because that's on sale and like you can't play it ever again. So I got it for like it's like $3 or something.
Nice.
Yeah, it's all really cheap, but it's kind of cool to go back and be like, oh, okay, yeah, like I'm gonna get all this set up on my console, so I have like the Halos and the Gears of Wars.
Yeah.
Is there an online storefront, or is it you have to go to the store on the Xbox to do?
There is a storefront, but it just does not function. Like you need to download it like via the console. But the 29th is the last day that this thing is open, and then it closes forever. Like the storefront at least. You can still access everything you purchased previously, but after that, you can't get anything new.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Steve Saylor, how about yourself?
So actually this weekend I won't be watching Evo, but I will be going to TennoCon, which is for Warframe this weekend. I got invited to go on out and check it out. So I was like, yeah, you know what? It's in London, so it's 2-hour train ride away, and so I'm excited to be able to check it out. I played Warframe a long while ago, but I never really kind of jumped in because Destiny kind of was the thing was pulling me in. But I started playing it again, just like for the first time, just recently, like jumping back in as if I was the first time, and I was like, yeah, okay, I could see the fun gameplay in this, I'm excited to be able to see. Apparently, the big announcement is they're going to talk about Warframe 1999, which is going to be their like cyberpunk kind of expansion, and apparently the main character is played by Ben Starr, our good old friend of the show.
Hell yeah!
So and he's going to be there, so I'm gonna maybe have a beer with him at some point. Yeah, I'm excited to be able to check it out, and then I've also got some Dungeons and Disabled stuff on the way. I've been recording that for the next adventure, so that'll be coming up before the end of the month. Awesome. And then I've got a gameplay preview that will be coming up also before the end of the month as well. I can't talk about just yet, but expect some videos and stuff coming soon.
Cool.
Yeah,
and Caboose.
Yeah, I mean, I just got my 100% platinum trophy for Alan Wake 2. I think I'm going to jump in and check out the Night Springs DLC. I want to see what's going on.
I haven't done that yet. I've been meaning to every single time, but I just
on PlayStation right now on the PlayStation Store. If you didn't get the deluxe edition,
yeah. I want to know if I should wait for like the one in October and just go right through it because I know it's not that long, but I don't know. Sorry, go ahead.
I'll be honest with you. That was one of the most like stressful games I've played in like the best way possible. Like there were some parts in that game where I was like, this is really hard, man. I don't want to move. Like,
Even like I think the one that kind of would freak me out the most was the room 665. I think it was that mission.
Oh, the ocean view. That's what got
the ocean view. Yeah,
that got me. But I think the worst of it was the nursing home.
Oh, the nursing home was just fucked up. Like that is just beyond.
It just
fucked
ain't
up.
right. It just ain't right.
Like the jump scare of from the window.
Yes,
yeah.
There was a lot,
old
man.
people. Come on. Okay.
No, not this one. This is like the creepy horror movie version of old people.
Okay. No,
like,
but it's just such a good game.
What'd you think of We Sing?
The musical you're talking about?
Yeah,
it's like the great. It like the thing is I was at the Game Awards and I obviously got to witness that performance live. It made me appreciate the fact that I was there so much more because I've been humming that song since the Game Awards, anyways.
Yeah.
But now like to actually like experience the full context of it all, like just such a well-made game, man.
So good. I did the entire playthrough on my second channel, and that episode alone is like the highest viewed episode by like far, which is awesome. I love that game so much. I can't wait to be able to jump into Night Springs. I don't think I'm gonna wait. That was my thing. To Marcel. I think I was gonna wait till October, but I need to jump into Night Springs before then. It's
play
too
Marcel.
strong.
If you haven't played the game at all, like just jump in, man.
Oh no, I have. It's just the DLC. I was like, should I wait till like it came out? I know when they announced it.
Because Night Springs is more just an anthology thing, so it has nothing. Whereas from what I understand, the actual next expansion will be like proper DLC that potentially continues the story in some way.
Okay. Yeah.
So I'm really looking forward to that. I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah, they haven't announced any details about that yet, so I'm very curious to see what's going to come from that.
I think October is coming out sometime, but yeah, we'll see.
Yep.
For me, I need to finish up. So sorry, Kuba's redone. By the way,
that's all. Okay. Just that Evo this weekend. I'm excited to tune in, and then Marvel Rivals next.
And apparently, being a WB shill on your channel of all things.
No,
me?
I saw that. Yeah.
WB shill.
Oh boy.
I could never.
There's
no such thing as having like a nuanced opinion anymore. You either love this thing or hate this thing, and you have to love everything about it or hate everything about it.
You're not even allowed to like anything without
right
people. Yo, dude, I saw that and I was like, I'm making an Arthur fist right now. Who's
same.
I'm just so passive, man. I'm just so passive. 10 years ago, I said I loved Arkham Origins when that came out, and it took people 10 years to be like, actually, this is a misunderstood game. So good, really good writing.
I told you.
Yeah, it's like, I've been saying, you know.
Don't worry, another 8 years, Midnight Suns, you'll be hearing about it for sure. So
no. That meant it's Gotham Knights. Yeah,
the Gotham Knights is the next one up, and then at some point in the future, people will turn back around on Suicide Squad.
Yeah,
and
probably.
then the cycle will continue to repeat itself and repeat itself and repeat itself.
Yeah.
There you go. You're a man of Caboose, the man of ahead of his time. You know,
like the Shrek movies in a way.
Yeah.
Sure.
We are not getting into that again.
Oh my god, I forgot about that.
First one was great.
No, we're not doing this. We're not doing this.
No, Camille ain't here. Like it's fine. It's fine.
For me, I'm gonna try to finish up my review for Flintlock: The Siege of Dawn. So far, I'm really enjoying. I'm enjoying it somewhat. And I didn't know it's gonna be much of a Souls light type of game. So
I heard that.
It was like trailer. It didn't present itself like that.
No, that was the thing too. And I saw the reviews of it, and they were like, it's Souls light, kind of like the Jedi Fallen Order or Jedi, like basically the Jedi series. So I was like, oh, okay. Now that that I'm okay with. Like I'd be down to try that out.
Yeah, and I'm hoping there's the character was kind of floaty a little bit, so I'm hoping there was some patches as well. I tend to when you get the game before it officially release, I kind of I'm a little light on that part of certain little hiccups. I'm like, okay, maybe they're gonna address that when they launch and everything. So now that the game's officially out, I think there was an update that came out today, so I'm gonna just go back in and finish up my review on that, and then jumping back into Concord, I'm gonna see if it wins me over. I don't know. We'll find out. I don't know. I believe I found a little generic, but we'll see.
Fair.
Hopefully it wins me over. We'll see. And then by next week we'll find out if I'm right about Marvel coming out. So get ready for that as well.
Cool.
But yeah. This was episode 45. Thanks for listening, and we'll all see you here next week. Take care, everybody.